When you're in your 20s, time is your friend. But if you don't use your time and your money the right way when you're in your 20s, then you can lose out on the opportunity to make tens of thousands, if not more than $1 million over your lifetime. What's up, everybody? I am Jaspreet Singh from theMinorityMindset.com, where money minds rethink rich. When you're in your 20s, you just graduated school, you probably just got your first real job, you're starting to make some money, you're trying to figure out how the real world works, you're trying to look cool, and you're also trying to figure out how to plan for your future. One of the most common type of comments that I get on YouTube are things like, man, I wish I would have heard about you when I was in my 20s, or man, I wish I would have seen your stuff 10 years ago. Now, considering that I'm nearing the end of my time in the 20s, because I'm 29 right now, I want to go over 7 mistakes that you want to avoid in your 20s. But before I get into that, I need you to do me a quick favor and smash that thumbs up button below. First, don't go all in on your car. I love nice cars, but one of the best decisions that I made the first time I had some real cash was not buying the BMW 3 Series that I wanted and buying some real estate instead. I wanted to drive this car, and it would have cost me something like $45,000 because I wanted to buy it brand new. Now, assuming I didn't buy this car cash, it would have cost me something like $800 a month. So every month, $800 would be leaving my pocket in order to drive this car for a few years until it broke down, because nice cars don't usually last that long. So I'd be paying $800 a month to buy this car, but I didn't do that. Instead, I bought myself a property, and today, about a decade after buying it, this property is still paying me $825 a month into my pocket. But now this property is making me $800 a month instead of me paying out $800 a month. I don't know about you, but before I have $800 leaving my pocket every single month, I want to have $800 coming in. You're only young once, and you want to drive a nice car when you're young. I get that. But if you want to be able to live that life that people dream about, and if you want to drive the cars that people wish they could drive, then you have to be willing to do the things that other people are not willing to do. And that means sacrificing your car right now and using that money to build your wealth. Your car is not going to make you any money. It's a liability that just loses value and loses you money. Your savings, on the other hand, can buy you freedom, and your investments can make you money and buy your wealth. Second, do not use your 20s as a time to live this fantasy flex lifestyle just so you can show it off on Instagram. I feel like a little piece of my soul gets ripped every time I see a 25-year-old shopping at Gucci, living in a penthouse, driving an exotic car while going on 3 big vacations a year, and every time they make a phone call on their iPhone, they have to do it through their AirPods while they're working a regular job, making a regular salary. How in the world do you afford all this stuff? Oh yeah, debt. I was watching a Dave Ramsey video the other day, and this 29-year-old lady called Dave, and she said, "Hi Dave, I'm 29 years old and I've made some bad financial decisions. I have almost $1 million worth of debt. How do I get out?" I'll link that video for you below if you want to watch it, but this is a breakdown of her major debts. She had $335,000 worth of student loans, $210,000 in her mortgage, $135,000 of credit card debt, $44,000 of personal loans, and another $35,000 that she owed on her car. Now, she said that this was due to bad financial decisions. Look, bad financial decisions is $2,000 of credit card debt. Maybe $5,000 worth of credit card debt. Maybe, if you are making really bad financial decisions, $10,000 worth of credit card debt. $135,000 worth of credit card debt is not bad financial decisions. This is a choice. The more money you spend in your 20s, the more likes you're going to get on Instagram until Instagram changes their algorithm again. But you're going to get more likes, but you're also going to spend the rest of your life paying for it. Life is not a race, and Instagram is not a competition. If you like Gucci, that's fine. Just make sure you can afford it first. Use your 20s to build, not to build your debt, to build your wealth. That way you can use the rest of your life to enjoy your life, because you put in the sacrifice to be able to enjoy your money. The third money trap you want to avoid in your 20s is being too conservative or not investing. When you're young, you have time on your side, and so you can afford to take calculated risks. That way you can grow your money. That's why I'm putting all my money in Bitcoin. Not like that. If you ask somebody who's getting ready to retire what changes would they make to their investment plan, they will almost all unanimously tell you that they wish that they would have started investing their money sooner. The reason time is so important when it comes to investing is because of something called compound interest. The way it works is like this. So I have some money and I go out and invest it. That way my money can attract me more money. Now when I have more money, I can invest my money, and the money my money made. Now I have more money going out and attracting me more money. That way I have more money coming into my pocket. Now when I have more money, I can invest my money, the money my money made, and the money my money's money made. That way I can keep attracting more money. The more time that you have on your side, the more times that your money can compound and grow and make you more money. If I put this in perspective, let's say that the day you turn 21, you get a job, and when you get this job, you decide that you're going to invest $500 a month every month until you retire at 66. So when you're 21, you invest $500 a month. When you're 22, you invest $500 a month, and on and on and on. And let's assume that you can get a 6% annual return on your money. If you do that and you start at 21, then you will be able to retire with $1.3 million because of your $500 monthly investment. But now let's assume that when you're 21, instead of putting that $500 aside towards your investments, you decide to give yourself a nice car instead, and you drive this nice car for like 5 years, and now you're like, you know what, I'm 26 now, I don't need a nice car, I'm gonna take this $500 and I'm gonna put it towards my investments. If you do that and you start investing when you're 26 and you do $500 a month every month until you retire, now you're not going to retire with $1.3 million. You are going to retire with $984,000. Still a lot of money, but you are leaving $300,000 on the table. If you had an extra $300,000, you're not going to worry about paying for extra guac. Actually, I take that back. Extra guac still won't be worth it, but at least you'll have an extra few $100,000. If you wait until you're 31 to start investing, and now you're investing that $500 a month, you are going to retire with $700,000. Still a lot of money, but you're leaving a lot of money on the table just by waiting to start investing. Now, if you want to have more money, you got to invest even more money and make more sacrifices, or you got to invest more aggressively to get a better return on your money. But if you just start investing your money sooner, then you can have a whole lot more money. When you're in your 20s, it's very easy to get attracted to the hot investments. You know, the things that can make you rich really quickly. That's things like crypto and day trading and options and Forex. You can make a lot of money doing these things. But if you don't know what you're doing, you can also lose a lot of money. And when you're in your 20s, sometimes it's easy to get blinded by that kind of like greed of getting rich quick. And sometimes you just got to experience it for yourself. That way you can see what's right for you. So instead of me saying don't invest in Forex, what I'm going to tell you is invest the bulk of your money into proven things, stocks and real estate. And then invest a small portion, no more than 20% of your investment portfolio into more speculative investments. Now the bulk of your money is going into assets, investments, things that have been proven for decades. And if you do want to learn more about investing your money in stocks and making money in the stock market and how to find a good stock brokerage, our team has put together a very comprehensive article that explains how to do that. You can read this article on our website, theminoritymindset.com, and I'll also link it for you in the description below. Fourth, avoid the luxury apartment that you cannot afford in your 20s. I've always been an entrepreneur, and back when I was in law school, I was making 6 figures a year, but I wasn't living in a very nice apartment even though I was making good money. During that time, I was living on the living room floor of an apartment because I didn't want to pay all the money to have my own room, and so I was paying less than $400 a month, which included my rent, my utilities, my internet, my water, my gas, and my parking. And I would, every night when I would go to sleep there, I would pull my mattress out from the hallway, drag it into the living room floor, put it down, lay down my sheets, go to sleep, wake up, pack up my sheets, and then move my mattress back into the hallway, even though I could afford a much nicer apartment. For me, I knew that it was my time to build, which is why I invested every penny I could back into my investments and my business. If you're fortunate enough in your 20s to make a good income and you can afford a penthouse, I would rather you take some of that money and use it to buy an investment property. That way you can start creating more passive income instead of you just using all of your cash to buy a nice room with a view. You can always get yourself a penthouse, and if you have more money, you can buy yourself an even nicer penthouse. But again, this is your time to build. Start compounding your money and start putting your money to work before you start blowing all your money. Fifth, avoid the buy now, pay later system, or as I like to call it, the broke now, broke later. If you got a few $1,000s in your bank account and you walk into Best Buy and you find this really nice $2,500 TV, the salesperson will say, hey, I would love to sell you this TV, but I have an even better idea. How about you pay us nothing down today, and then you just pay us $150 a month for the next few years. Now you got a big TV and you only had to pay $150 today. That's when you go across the street to the furniture store and you find this really nice sofa for $400, but you're thinking, wait, why would I pay $400 for a sofa when I got a few grand still in my bank account? So now you go over to the nice side of the furniture section and now you find that $1,500 sofa and the salesperson says, hey, you don't have to pay us $1,500 today, just pay us $75 a month and $0 down for the next 2 months. It must be a lucky day. Now you got a brand new TV and a new sofa and you've only paid $150 today. Now you're feeling really good, so you go on over to Chipotle to celebrate with some extra guac. Buy now, pay later is one of the most expensive ways to pay for your stuff, because now you're paying interest on your sofa and your TV and all these other liabilities which don't make you any money. These things are actually losing you money, so you're paying interest to buy something that's losing you money, and you don't have the actual pain of money leaving your wallet because you're not paying for the whole TV, you're just paying your monthly payments. And so now you feel like you can buy even bigger and nicer things even though you might not be able to afford it. The number one reason why the majority of people will never build wealth is because you're spending all your money on things that you don't need, that don't pay you with money that's not yours. A simple rule of thumb when it comes to money is if the majority of people are doing it, chances are it's wrong. That's why we're the minority mindset. Sixth, don't drown yourself in student loan debt. When I was in high school, and I'm sure part of this has to do with the fact that I'm brown, but everybody talked about college as like the sole path to success. If you want to become successful, all you have to do is do really good in college and then probably get a graduate degree, become a doctor or something like that, and then you are almost guaranteed to become financially successful. Well, sorry to break it to you, but it doesn't really work like that. College has its place. I'm not going to debate over whether college is right or wrong in this video. I'll save that topic for a different video. But what I want to focus on is really the student loan debt aspect of college, because the last thing you want to do is graduate school in your 20s and then be multi-six figures in debt to have a job paying you 5 figures. If you take out $30,000 for the student loan debt and you graduate school getting a job paying $70,000, then that's not bad. But if you're going into debt $100,000 just to get a job paying you 30, you're doing something wrong. You don't have to rely on student loans to fund your entire life when you're in college. You can get a job when you're in college. You can start a business when you're in college. There's a lot of things that you can do. It's not easy to work and go to school, but it's also not easy to spend the rest of your life paying off your student loans. You can also look into applying for scholarships and grants to help you with your college costs. And if none of those work, go to a cheaper college for the first couple of years. Go to a community college for a couple of years. Use that to save some money. That way you can graduate school without all the debt. And number 7, when you're in your 20s, avoid the temptation to find the get-rich-quick programs. When you're in your 20s, you are like the prime demographic for get-rich-quick schemes because you want to make money, you are entering the real world, you might not be happy with how much money you're making at your job, you might not like going to college, and so you are almost like this fresh meat for all these get-rich-quick programs. This happened a number of years ago, but a good friend of mine was out one night and he met this guy, let's call him George. And George was talking to my friend about how he is an entrepreneur and how much he loves entrepreneurship and how much he loves starting his own business. And my friend was like, hey, my friend Jaspreet is also an entrepreneur and is also really pro-entrepreneurship. You two should connect. So my friend connected George and me, and we got to talking and we got to know each other. And George was like, hey, let's meet up, let's get some coffee. I've always been really bad at networking, so I figured what the heck. So me and George met up at a local coffee shop, and this is a true story. And we start talking and George starts like asking me these really weird questions. He's like, okay, so what are your dreams? What is your dream life like? What would you imagine your life to be like in 5 years? What about 10 years? What steps are you taking to achieve this dream life? I just felt like something wasn't right. So I was giving like super vague answers because I wasn't sure what this was all about and where this was going. And George goes on, and eventually he starts pitching this MLM to me, this multi-level marketing system that he was in. And he was like, I need to be a part of his team. That way I can be super rich like him and live this dream lifestyle that he was living. He was showing me pictures of him traveling the world. And he's like, look, I'm making all this money. And I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. You know, just trying to play along. That's when I told George, look, man, I'm really not interested. I have my own business that I'm running and I have my own goals. This is really not something that I'm interested in. That's when he started talking about other things. And when he learned about minority mindset, That's when he got really curious and he was like, look man, is there any way you can teach me to do what you're doing? Because I'm really not making a lot of money doing this. A lot of my money is being spent on advertising and marketing, and I'm living this fake persona, this fake lifestyle to get people signed up under me. There's a lot of fake crap in the world, and a lot of it is being sold to 20-somethings because you are fresh meat. This doesn't just apply to get rich quick programs, although there's a lot of those out there, but this also means be wary of high risk and high leverage investments. More leverage can help you make money quickly, but you can also lose more money way faster. If something seems too good to be true, chances are it probably is. You're gonna come across a lot of opportunities to make money in your lifetime, and very few of these are gonna be true once in a lifetime opportunities. So don't fall into the trap of thinking that everything that might be a little bit good is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Do your research. If you enjoyed this video, here's a video that I think you'll love, and while you're at it, subscribe to our YouTube channel and join our free finance and business newsletter. And as always, keep hustling. Passive income now is not a way to get rich quick. There is a lot of misconceptions out there on the internet